So on my installation video for the rear LED strip light by MX-5 things, I showed you guys how to run the wiring harness from the strip light itself down into the harness in the trunk. Now I got a lot of comments on that video about the way that I ran the wire from the LED light down into the trunk. What I did was I just took the wiring harness, put it through the holes on the trunk lid and then on the body of the car itself, and then took the little rubber grommets and put them directly over top of the wire, basically pinching the wire against the metal body and the rubber grommet itself. A lot of people in the comment section were saying that this is not a good way to do it, that it's going to eventually rub through the insulation on the wires. It could lead to shorting out and other issues like potential water leakage as well. Now, while I never had water leakage in the trunk, even after washing the car several times with a pressure washer, it is definitely a concern. I do see the potential for leaking into the trunk, and the bigger thing is rubbing through the insulation of the wire itself. I haven't gotten to this yet, but who knows, over time that problem may have eventually developed. So I do agree that there are better ways to route the wire, and so that's what I'm going to fix and show you guys in today's video. So instead of simply just running the wire through the hole and putting the grommet over top, what we're going to do is actually drill a hole through each of the rubber grommets and feed the wire through that hole instead, so that way it's completely surrounded by rubber, and that way we don't have any issues of the metal rubbing against the wire and possibly breaking the insulation. I used a 1/8 inch drill bit to drill a hole that was slightly smaller than the outer insulation of the wire, and then basically force that through so that way the grommet was tight around the wire and hopefully won't lead to any water leakage. Of course, you can always put some tape or some silicone sealant or something like that around that hole to make sure that there's no leakage, but I don't think we're going to have a problem with that at all. Now, if you already installed the pins into the connector like I showed you guys in my previous video, there is still a way to remove those, so that way you don't have to cut a hole big enough for that entire white connector to go through the grommets. Let me show you how to de-pin your connector. You want to take a very, very small screwdriver like this and actually push it into this side of the connector, and there's a little white tab, you can feel it inside the connector itself, and that should allow these connectors, or these pins rather, to release. It is a little bit tricky and it may take you a couple tries to release it, but if you just keep working at it, you will eventually get it just like that. And do the same thing to the black wire. Just like that. Now we're going to drill a hole through these little rubber grommets, so that way the wire will feed through the hole down there and it won't be pressed against the metal. So what you want to do is take your 1/8 drill bit and just drill a hole straight through the grommet. Just like that, and repeat for all of the other ones as well. And now you want to feed the wire through the grommets one by one, starting with this circular one that goes at the top of the trunk lid here. So starting with one of the connectors, push it through just like that, and then do the second one as well. Just like that. And then if you pull it hard enough, you see it actually pushes that wiring harness through, and now the grommet is tight up against the wire. And we're just going to feed this all the way down to the end of the wire like that for now, and then we'll adjust it later for the length. So now you want to feed this wire through the trunk, just like we did in the installation video. So it comes out right there. And now we're going to take our second grommet, and this time you're going to want to feed it through the back side here. Just like that. You push the whole wire through. And again, you could just leave it like that for now. And then our last grommet, we're going to go through the top for the one that goes here on the body of the car. So push one connector through, and then the other one, and then pull the whole wire through as well. And now feed the wire harness through the car just like we did before. And now we can put these grommets back into place, and then you can adjust the wire as need be, so you don't have too much excess hanging off. There we go, just like that. And then just like we did in the installation video, you're going to plug these pins back into the connector. And again, make sure that you plug the red one into the red side, and then the black one into the black side. Just like that. Make sure they're nice and tight. And there we go. And by the way, these connectors are super simple. I had a question about how these work. You can maybe see on camera there's a little white tab right here. So all you want to do is depress that tab and you pull the connector straight out. Sometimes it helps if you push the connectors towards each other while pushing down that tab to release tension from that little tab right there, and it makes it easier to pull them out. And then as far as the wiring harnesses go down here in the car itself, this one right here is for the body of the car, as is this one. Now, if you don't have the sequential LED turn signals, then this wiring harness right here will not exist. These two are going to be plugged in together, and all you need to do using that same method with the tabs here is disconnect this one and plug in the MX-5 things harness between them. If you do have the LED sequential rear turn signals, you will have this extra harness that plugs into the body, and then this one here that goes to the taillights. Now, it doesn't matter which way you plug this one in the sense that you can plug it in between these two plugs, or you can put it in between those two plugs. It doesn't matter because it's one continuous circuit. Either way, everything should work. And all of the plugs are unique so that you cannot accidentally plug it into the wrong area as well. So now I want to show you guys what the wires look like there. But this is what the finished product looks like. So the wire itself is going straight through that grommet instead of off to the side. Same thing here, and then up here at the top of the trunklet as well. That does look a lot nicer. And while the other method might have worked, I do agree that this is the preferred way of doing it. So I hope you guys do take this into account when you install these lights on your own, and I appreciate all the comments in my original video. I hope this helped. If you guys do have any further questions, as always, leave them down in the comments below, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.